Hello viewers, and welcome to another live-action commentated match of Warhammer 40,000 Conquest. My name is Mitch, and I am the Hive Tyrant. Today, I'm pleased to present you with another game sent in to me by Christopher Dale Bates, better known perhaps throughout our community as Octagon user Brain Damage 99. This video is going to be an Eldar faction mirror match, with both of our featured players opting to play as our original Eldar faction warlord, Eldorath Starbane. This video was filmed at the Fantasy Flight Games HQ, their event center in Roseville, Minnesota, and I had the opportunity to meet both of our players at the 2015 Conquest LCG World Championship event. To the left, we have an individual named Taylor Parolini, and to the right, we have a gentleman named Doug Nordine. To the left, Taylor is currently holding our initiative token, and his opening deploy is going to be a copy of the 2-cost Warlock Destructor, strategically positioned to get bogged down in combat at planet number 1. For just 2 cost, it's got 3 attack, 4 hit points, and a command icon to boot. Granted, you've got to pay a resource each and every deploy phase in order to keep it in play, but it can definitely afford you a fantastic bit of value in killing off a large swath of enemy units. But at planet number 2, for Doug, we've now got a copy of the 2-cost, 2-command icon, 3 attack, 1 hit point Incubus Warrior. Notably, that's going to be attacking when he has the initiative during the following round, when our current planet number 2 ends up becoming the first planet, and for either player, they've got a copy of the 1-cost, 2-command icon, 1 attack, 1 hit point Bealtan Guardians at planet 3 for Doug and planet 4 for Taylor. And at planet number 5 on the left, we've got a +1 resource bonus Rogue Trader. Yet another powerful economy unit. We've got a copy of the Slith Mercenary at planet number 1 for Doug. It's a little bit difficult to see because of the glare, but for the mere cost of 1 resource, it's 2 attack, 2 hit points, and a whopping 2 command icons. Taylor ends up putting an Incubus Warrior of his own at planet number 2, and taking a little bit of a glimpse there afforded to us at Taylor's hand, I saw a copy of Nullify and Gift of Isha. So Gift of Isha is some absolutely fantastic, affordable army unit recursion, and if you can nullify your opponent's Gift of Isha in a mirror match like this, considering that's one of the most important Eldar faction cards, then that could be absolutely incredible. And something completely integral to keep in mind is that wherever either copy of Eldorath shows up, he's going to be able to basically exhaust whatever enemy unit happens to be sitting at the opposite end of the table. In checking out our first 3 planets, each of them happens to possess a red material type icon, and note that the first 2 possess blue tech icons, and planet number 4 and 5 each happen to possess a blue and red icon as well. So it's looking like this could be a pretty damn quick game indeed. Looks like Taylor's going to show up at planet number 1, and Doug instead is going to be showing up at planet number 2, so we see a copy of Slith Mercenary and Incubus Warrior being knocked out respectively. Planet number 1 is Karnath. That's the wild card trigger the battle ability of any other planet in play planet, so it kind of remains to be seen in regard to what battle ability Taylor is most assuredly going to be activating, but planet number 1 is going to be a card and a resource to the left for Taylor, planet number 2 is going to be a card and a resource to the right for Doug, planet number 3 is going to be a couple of resources for Doug, planet number 4 is going to be a card and a resource to the left for Taylor, and planet number 5 is once again going to be a card and a resource to the left for Taylor. The Warlock Destructor, commanding the initiative, quite handily takes a swing, kills off that opposing Slith Mercenary, so that's 1 card, 1 resource down on the right side of the table. Looks like Eldorath is going to be able to trigger Karnath. That's going to be a blue and a red planet-type icon for Taylor, and what exactly is he going to activate? He could have Aatrox Prime, blast that Bealtan Guardians located at planet number 3. He could pick and choose an enemy unit to rout, like he could banish that Incubus Warrior located at planet number 2, and if he had sufficient shielding, he'd be able to have his Incubus Warrior keep dealing significant amounts of damage out to the enemy copy of Eldorath, potentially bloodying the enemy warlord if he has a sufficient number of shields. But I guess as I was working my way down the planetary line, yet another fantastic option would have been to use Planum to relocate that copy of the Warlock Destructor to planet number 2. Note that Eldorath must have taken taken a swing first at that Slith Mercenary so that the Warlock Destructor could have dealt the killing blow, then they'd have come to the end of the combat round, then both of those units would have been ready for that Planum relocation to occur, because note that Warlock Destructor is now ready opposite the enemy unit. Eldorath takes a swing, deals 1 point of damage, entirely inconsequential to that enemy copy of the Warlock Destructor, and now that Warlock Destructor itself is going to be dealing out, looks like a few points of damage to the enemy copy there of Eldorath Starbane. Looks as though that Incubus Warrior is just by no means a priority target, so I wonder what exactly is up our, Eldar to the left player's sleeve. Looks like a copy of Promotion is discarded to block off 1 point of damage dealt out by that enemy copy of Eldorath Starbane. Eldorath himself flees from the planet to the right, so it's looking like Taylor's got his Incubus Warrior and Warlock Destructor potentially being able to kill off the enemy Incubus Warrior at this planet. Notably, that's going to be an Archon's Terror. There we go. That's going to be a nullified copy of Archon's Terror. If we'd have seen the Warlock Destructor routed, then we could have seen the Incubus Warrior take a swing, potentially killing off the enemy Incubus Warrior. Mirror matches are a little bit confusing, don't you think? Then that could have resulted in Doug to the right there winning that planet, and that would have been Aatrox Prime bombarding the HQ of Taylor, and that would have been 1 point of damage to Eldorath and 1 point of damage dealt out to that Warlock Destructor. But it looks as though since that Warlock Destructor was able to survive long enough, it was able to kill off that enemy copy of the Incubus Warrior. That means Taylor had the opportunity to trigger Aatrox Prime. It took a blast. It ended up killing off that enemy copy of Bealtan Recruits. And would you look at that, that is going to be a very favorable economy from Taylor's perspective. He's got planet number 1 reasonably locked down. Same thing could be said for planets number 3 and 4, at least in regard to an economy sense. He's got a couple command icons at planet number 3. He's got that ever-popular Rogue Trader positioned at a planet that isn't exactly favorable to be sending Eldorath to, and considering just how quickly this match might end up concluding, it's just going to be of paramount importance that Doug to the right is going to be trying to do something to at least shore up Farron to prevent Taylor from winning at his earliest possible victory condition. And if he's able to prevent his opponent from winning at Farron, then he'll have to, just keep blocking off each and every individual planet. Notably, the initiative token is now in Doug's possession. You can see that Team Covenant style token currently located at planet number 1 is going to be pointed toward Doug, but it seems as though he has already passed, because Taylor there to the left is just absolutely filling the board with units. And when you're Eldorath, something important to do, and you can kind of say this for any warlord, is going to be winning a lot of cards and resources, and wouldn't you know, it looks like Taylor's got that board absolutely flooded with units. He's potentially going to be winning command on each and every planet. Well, I guess that's what I'd be saying if it wasn't for Eldorath being able to show up at a planet and exhaust an enemy unit, because if both Eldoraths end up sent to the same planet, then Taylor to the left is only going to end up winning command at 4 planets, only 4 planets, and then whatever planet both warlords arrived at, that would be a bit of a stalemate there. So I can only imagine that Eldorath, would probably show up at a planet where he could do a little bit of damage himself. Doug to the right sends, okay, that's pretty interesting play there. Doug commits his copy of Eldorath to planet number 2, knocks out that copy of the Incubus Warrior controlled by Taylor. That's going to be 2 resources denied to Taylor there to the left. And then Eldorath to the right, his final resting place is going to be positioned at planet number 1, and that's going to be a copy of Foresight relocating Eldorath from planet 2 to planet number 1. So that copy of the Warlock Destructor is knocked out. But what really sucks for Doug is that we also see a copy of Foresight, because note that reactions are triggered in the order of the player holding the initiative token, so Taylor is entirely free to respond to that action by relocating his own copy of Eldorath to planet number 1, and what that means is it's going to make things very, very difficult indeed for Doug's copy of Eldorath to try to win that planet, when he's probably not going to be able to kill off that copy of the Warlock Destructor by himself, and he's definitely not going to be able to chew through the 1/7 Warlord that's also staring him down, especially considering the context of having already possessed 3 points of damage there. But both of our Eldoraths take a swing at one another. That's going to be both of them discarding a copy of Doom. A mirror match indeed. And the rest of the board is just full of economy units here. We've got our new 5th planet from the last round's HQ phase, that is Taurus. That's the planet where if you happen to win a battle there and you control fewer units than does your opponent, you've got the opportunity to collect all of the cards or resources associated with that planet. That definitely would not have been the worst destination for that copy of Eldorath Starbane to show up, but it's difficult as a 1/7 base warlord for Eldorath to try to kill off something along the lines of a 2/2, and definitely worth noting is that Taylor there to the left is doing much better in regard to economy than is Eldorath. So, pretty interesting as we see at the end of the combat round there, Doug's Eldorath bounced back to the HQ. It did a retreat. Upon Aatrox Prime's battle ability being activated, we see a copy of Foretell being activated, so you basically draw one card and you exhaust your Warlord to cancel the battle ability of a planet. So a bit of a cantrip effect. It blocks off that Aatrox Prime ability, so it spares Doug's Warlord from taking a point of damage, and it replaces itself. So that was an absolutely fantastic card. Really no reason in that circumstance, at least, to not include that in the deck. But I definitely think that... things are pretty rough there for Doug. I think even if he had a copy of Gift of Isha in hand, I think the topmost Eldar faction card, and of course I can't check, I can't rewind the video here, but I think it was Bealdhan Guardians, and a 1/1 unit definitely isn't going to do much to contribute in a battle when it's facing down a Warlock Destructor and any number of other nasty effects. We've got a unit being played out to planet number 1. It's quite frankly a little bit difficult to discern what exactly that is, but Taylor responds by putting out a copy of Warlock Destructor at planet number 1, and note, he's still got that copy of Warlock Destructor sitting there in his HQ, so I believe thus far that's going to be a grand total of 4 resources invested in that copy of Warlock Destructor. Thanks to a little bit of a momentary reprieve from Glare, I can tell that that unit played out to the first planet was going to be a copy of the 4-cost Wild Rider Squadron. That's going to be a 3/4 unit that you can use a combat action in order to move it to an adjacent planet, but considering that this is going to be a possible victory condition here for Taylor, I can't imagine that Doug is going to be, evacuating that unit anytime soon. And he's also played another unit out to that planet. I can't quite tell if that's another copy of Slith Mercenary or not. But on Taylor's side of the table, another very expensive unit indeed for 4 whopping resources. We've got a copy of the unique Eldar unit, Autarch Salakia. You can either pay 1 resource, and I believe until the end of the round it gains either Mobile or Armor Bane or Area Effect 1. To no one's surprise, both of our Warlords end up showing up to planet number 1, so that's going to be Command 1 on planets 2, 3, and 4 by Taylor. So planet number 2 is going to be a card and a resource for Taylor. Planet number 3 is going to be a card and a resource for Taylor. Sounding like a bit of a broken record here, but planet number 4 is going to be a card and a resource for Taylor. And wouldn't you know it, planet number 1 is going to be 2 resources, I believe, for... I can only imagine that's going to be for Taylor. That Wild Rider Squadron is going to be exhausted. I cannot tell if that is a purple hue or not, but for the sake of just argument, let's say that's a copy of a 2/2 Slith Mercenary there to the right at planet number 1. Again, I apologize for the bit of glare. Hopefully, Christopher's only going to be able to refine this recording process as he goes, and regardless, I'm definitely thankful for all the footage he has afforded me. But that's going to be a copy of Archon's Terror, banishing that exhausted copy of the Wild Rider Squadron from that planet. That really looks like a Slith Mercenary, and wouldn't you know it, Mirror Match is Mirror Match. That's going to be a copy of Archon's Terror that is unfortunately nullified. Eldorath Starbane as a 1/7 Warlord doesn't really do a whole lot, but what he has done twice this video is nullify that Archon's Terror, and that is going to be a bad day when you end up purchasing control of a Slith Mercenary from your opponent. So it looks as though that is going to be the GG. What indeed can a wounded copy of Eldorath Starbane do against Autarch Salakia, Incubus Warrior, Warlock Destructor, and an additional Warlock Destructor? That game was ridiculous. Congratulations to Taylor Parolini for a very amusing win, but of course, very well played by Doug Nordine as well. Thank you to both of our gentlemen players for affording me the opportunity to watch, spectate, and commentate this game, and a tremendous thanks to Christopher Dale Bates for providing me with this footage in the first place. So, to you, the viewer, I hope you enjoyed this match half so much as I did. That ending was absolutely fantastic, but as always, If you enjoyed this content, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already, or if you are already subscribed, as ever, you're always encouraged to share this content, because the more individuals there are that end up exposed to Conquest, the more people may give this living card game a try, enjoy what they experience, someday join our community, and of course, as we ever expand our ranks, ever the greater message we send together to Fantasy Flight Games, telling them to continue to support this fantastic product. If at any point you'd like to get in touch with me, I would encourage you to do so through Facebook or on Twitter, and I'm always on the lookout for other games to commentate and publish on my channel, just like this one. So if at any point you're interested, I definitely recommend reaching out to me. If you ever feel so inclined to help support the Hive Tyrant, I would be absolutely honored and humbled were you to help donate maybe $1 or $2 on a strictly monthly basis to help cover some of my file hosting and operating expenses. But once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you again to Christopher Dale Bates for affording me the opportunity to commentate this game, and as always, be sure to check back in again soon for much more Conquest LCG content to come.